Hello and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Angela McCarthy, the CEO of the Earth Foundation, the organization behind the Earth Prize, a $200,000 annual global environmental sustainability competition for teenage students to come up with solutions to tackle environmental issues. Now, thank you everyone for taking the time to be with us today. And I'm very excited to present to you the new ambassador for the Earth Prize, Okezue Bell. Now, Okezue is a Nigerian-American high school senior, activist, and entrepreneur. I was fortunate enough to meet Okezue in person at the VLAR Symposium in June. He is also an alumni of the Knowledge Society. Today, Okezue will be sharing his personal experiences of coming up with innovative ideas and turning them into reality, which we are sure the students that are signing up for the Earth Prize competition will find very interesting. We also know that Okezue will be attending COP27 in Egypt next week, and we're eager to hear more about his participation, his questions, and also what he hopes to take away and learn and what will come from COP27. So at the end of this session, we're going to have a Q&A where those of you who are listening have a chance to ask him any questions you might have. But in the meantime, I would like to give a warm welcome to Okezue and let him introduce himself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for introducing me, Angela. It's great to be here, and it's great to be an ambassador for the Earth Prize. So excited to chat with everyone and answer questions. So like you mentioned, I'm Nigerian-American, and I'm a high school senior. So currently going through college apps and everything. Some of my fellow seniors out there can definitely relate. And I'm currently based in Pennsylvania, where I grew up, and I've been living all of my life, but take frequent trips down to Nigeria, which is where my mom is from, sort of my root culture. And I'm really interested in how I can apply technology to solve sociological and humanitarian issues such as climate change. So I'm the founder and director of Fidutom, as well as the inventor of the Wheat Arm, which is a low-cost and 3D printed human-like prosthetic for below-the-elbow amputees. And I also conduct research at Harvard Medical School, the MIT Media Lab, and Boston Children's Hospital. And core to all of these innovations and work in technology has been my work in advocacy. And so what I do is that I host STEM, climate, and education workshops globally, devoted thousands of hours of my time to actually impact over 65,000 kids across 80 countries with these workshops in collaboration with organized organizations like the Vila Institute, as well as the United Nations. And so with these youth mentorships, I'm really passionate about integrating youth into climate and collaborating with climate conscious and sustainability organizations such that we can all build a better future together. So really excited to be an Earth Prize ambassador, and I look forward to seeing all of the submissions to the competition.
Okezue, what does one say after an introduction like that? You're truly amazing, and the work you're doing is incredibly inspiring. So I know that the people listening have maybe a few questions and thoughts and ideas, which I'm going to preempt and ask you a few. So I thought I'd start by telling us a little bit about how you grew up and what were you like as a kid?
Yeah, so as a young person, I think I was always very curious and I was always very interested in STEM. For context, both of my parents were engineers, so I had the privilege of getting to watch them sort of work with technology on a daily basis and use some of what at that time were the cutting edge tools for development, software engineering, et cetera. They're electrical engineers, so definitely very deep in the technical side of things. And so because of that, I had a natural fascination and draw to technology, like being exposed to it at home, then going to school and having this education, which I'm so grateful for. I was able to sort of gain a liking and grasp a lot of STEM topics early on. And as I sort of progressed and started to take harder and harder material, I started to see the far-reaching implications of all of the technology and subjects that we were learning about, from everything including English to biology and math, where I've really found my passion. And so in sort of realizing that, when the COVID-19 pandemic struck, we saw all of these problems sort of fall into the palms of our hands because of how much closer the world became due to the interconnectivity that the COVID-19 pandemic brought. And so
Mm.
in seeing all these issues, I started to realize that tech could be so much more than a hobby, and it could actually be holding some of the biggest solutions to great issues such as climate change. And so I started working to apply my learnings and apply my research to issues that affect people both systemically and on a case-to-case basis. And so that's where my passions have been. And I definitely say my upbringing played a huge role in bringing me to this place today.
And that's such a wonderful answer, because I think what's really key for us at the Earth Prize is we really want to find your passion. You know, Peter McGarry, the founder of the Earth Foundation and the first initiative, the Earth Prize, what, inspired him was seeing his daughter in a protest, Fridays for Future. But what he saw in the streets when he was looking, and he didn't even know what it was at that point, was he saw passion, energy, anger. He could feel it all. And he was like, how can we channel this into something positive? And so it's very much part of what you're saying is finding the channel and then executing something positive from all the energy that is within all of you, but needs a platform and needs a place. So, it's so wonderful the way you express yourself and shared that to hopefully trigger other teenagers to understand better maybe what's going on within them and to find a place for it. So do you think you were always interested in becoming a researcher and an entrepreneur, or did it was something that triggered you to go to that extra mile?
Yeah, I think to an extent, I was always kind of interested in technology. I wouldn't say I was always a researcher, though I definitely was a very curious person. My mom would always have to shut off the lights because I was always like reading something before I went to bed, or like working on something, or just looking at something I found interesting. And so I think naturally I had sort of that research and innovation spirit within me, but it had to be cultivated by my surroundings and my environment. And so I was enough to be born into a system and a people and a community that really supported the idea of education and applying your educations long term.
Hmm.
And so because of that, oh yeah, go ahead. I was saying, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's interesting because, I wonder sometimes what's that trigger where you're inspired, you do something amazing, but then you want to share it and give back, and you're still so young. And I'm curious a little bit about that feeling of not just, hey, this is great, I've created this, whatever it is, but you want to give back. And that's interesting for me.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I think my experience just being a person of color in STEM has definitely played a huge role in that. Especially in the United States where I live, there's not much representation when you look into these types of fields. And there's even less fostering of it because there's so many systemic barriers that prevent people of various backgrounds from getting into a lot of tech heavy and technical fields, or even in advocacy. And so because of that, I think I was so inclined to use the privilege that I had to extend it to other people,
Hmm.
because I was seeing the effects that it had on my life and all of these positive benefits that came out of it. For one, I was getting to meet some really amazing people, such as the people at the Earth Prize and the Earth Foundation. But even beyond that, I was able to apply my learnings to create something that was useful and could actually be implemented in communities that were very close to me. And so I don't know, I just saw those really cool effects and those really powerful outcomes that I could create, and wanted to give other people the opportunity to do the same.
Well, I think that's something incredibly powerful and beautiful. And, it's a big part of what the Earth Prize is about. It's a competition, but so much more than that. We're really a
Exactly.
platform to listen to your voices, and through all our different ecosystems that we have within the platform, we really want to bring all of that to life. And you, as our newest ambassador, you're a prime example of what one can do as a teenager. And I think that's just so wonderful. And we're so happy to have you. So I have a few more questions for you. So you have a passion, you see an issue, you come up with an idea. What's the next step? Like if you were talking to, students that are wanting to sign up for the Earth Prize, they have an idea. What's the next step? Like, how do you take your idea and take it to the next step?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. It's really hard to sort of pass the Rubicon that is like idea and then execution. And so because of that, I think the biggest thing to do is first understand and research the root causes of the problem that
Mm.
you've noticed. I think it's better to chase problems by their significance and not the methods underlying them,
What does
because
that
too
mean?
often,
What does that mean?
yeah, so I think too often we get like entangled in this idea of like, let's use AI for this solution, or let's like you see all these amazing teams that have won the Earth Prize in the past, and you're like, we need to use like peels to create something just like the first place team did. So, you
Quite
know,
brilliant, quite brilliant.
exactly, an amazing idea. But at the same time, the reason their idea was so great was because they were addressing that root cause
Yeah.
problem, which was the unsustainability of menstruation products and care. And so they understood really the root cause and how it could correlate with the outcome, and then identified the technology that could be useful in creating a solution, rather than getting so fixated on the solution aspect that you forget to build the solution for the actual problem. So I'd say the biggest step is to truly understand the problem that you're really interested in or passionate about, and then start to look into what are the reasons behind that problem. And
Mm.
then once you've identified those, you can easily create solutions by just saying, how do we prevent this? How do we stop it? How do we take a different path?
So it's really what I keep hearing a lot around me. It's actually about identifying problems
Mhm.
and then finding the solution, which all of you are quite brilliant about. Now, what would you say to students that want to participate, but they think they don't have a great idea or they're struggling with an idea? What would you say to them?
That's a great idea. That's a great point. I think there's just like a certain level of perseverance and creativity that you kind of have to employ when you're doing any sort of competition or just trying to create something in general. So I think it's really important that you never discount the importance of your own personal experiences.
Mm.
Sometimes the loftier ideas or the seemingly more advanced ones seem more attractive, but in
Yeah.
reality, sometimes all that's needed is a really simple solution to a really big problem. And so sometimes the solution might be right in front of you. It might be something that you're already doing that you could just scale upwards. It might be something from your own personal experiences. So I think too often we discount like the valuability of our lives and our viewpoints, and we look too much to the internet and past research papers, etc., when sometimes the answer is lying right in front of us. So to create ideas, I think the biggest thing is to look inward first, and then you can start looking outward to other sources and to other pieces of information. But sometimes the problems, the ideas, the solutions start right in your mind and in your life.
Very good points there. So, I have a question. Now, you are heading to COP27 next week in Egypt.
Yes.
What's your participation? What questions are you going to be asking? And what do you really, when you leave, that day you leave, what are you thinking about? Like, was that great? Was it good? Was it helpful? Was it life-changing? Was it nothing's going to happen? I'm just curious about the whole process for you.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of considerations that I have to make when I'm going to something like COP27, because like, Greta Thunberg's recent comments on it weren't necessarily positive. She called it like a greenwashing scam and all of these things. And so I think she brings up a really interesting point, which is this idea that sometimes these huge climate conferences are used as a facade for just a larger political or corporate agenda rather than actually trying to address climate change properly. So, in seeing and understanding that, my intention is to be really purposeful about how I go into the conference, what interactions I'm making, and try to start conversations and try to form partnerships that I truly believe will create change, not just give me a platform or allow me to work with a company or make a certain somewhat some sort of profit. I think it's really about sort of addressing the problem at its heart. And so when I go to something like COP27, where there are so many amazing and influential people just around me, going around, moving around the conference, I think it'll be really vital that I try and pinpoint some conversations that I want to have, some topics that I want to bring up, some core ideas and solutions that I'm really passionate about, and see if we can mobilize them at the conference. I think conversations can be the biggest way to create change, but they can also be a big barrier to change. So it's really dependent on how you use that communication. So that's something that I'm really going to consider as I head to the conference.
What are you hoping when you leave your mark behind? What do you think the changes that could be made? Or, what's the sort of, you're going there for a reason, right? And you're going there to share and spread ideas, thoughts, whoever you may meet, as you said, influential people. But what are you expecting to happen after you leave? What are your hopes for it?
Yeah, I think now that COP27 is actually having the first forum ever that will actually facilitate youth speaking, like the Youth Pavilion, as they call it, I think I'm hopeful that it will sort of leave a mark of the importance of this intergenerational collaboration,
Right.
which is something that has been forwarded a lot by the Villar Institute as well,
Yes.
which is this idea that we as people need to come together in all walks of life and work towards an implementation broadly of a variety of solutions.
Hmm.
And the reason I think that's so powerful is that youth sort of don't have this incumbent mindset when it comes to climate change. Like, we didn't necessarily create the problem. We're not necessarily hung up on or concerned with which solution to use. There's really no debate on whether climate change is like real or not in our generation, which is big. But then we also have this sort of naivety when it comes to climate and the solutions because we're so new to it. But then adults have sometimes more cynical views, but they also have a lot of the solutions and a lot of the development already done and in place. So if we collaborate, we can have the solutions that have already been developed to be realized by us, the next generation, adopting them and using them widely. And so it's really important. I think youth will be the drivers of a lot of the solutions that the other generations have already developed. And that collaboration will be so vital to solving climate change, any social issue, in any context. I think intergenerational collaboration is powerful. And so I'm hoping that COP27 will really consider that as a young person's presence, something that's really anomalous at COP27 is actually highly beneficial. So I'm hoping to create that connection there.
I am so sure that you will. I'm a believer. So we're just going to jump now to the Q&A and see what we've got. Oh, I have a question here. Why did you choose to work with the Earth Prize?
Yeah, so Peter, that's a great question. I'm thinking there's a lot of different reasons, and a lot of great reasons. I think the first one was that I got to meet the organizers of the Earth Prize, of course, Angela, in Switzerland at the Villar Institute, which was amazing. Of course, we got to make so many great connections. We met in this very beautiful, sustainable hotel that they had developed, and so in speaking with them and the team, I just learned so much about the goals and the views of the organization, and intergenerational collaboration was at the heart of that. I thought it was great that they were mobilizing youth developed solutions, they were giving funding, etc. So I thought that was something that was so powerful and felt like there were so many overlaps and so many good reasons why I should collaborate with the Earth Prize. And so that's kind of why we're here now. But even beyond that, it was just like the idea of getting to support something that really helps young people to develop their voice in solution making and in advocacy really spoke to me personally. And I think that it's a great initiative that will support a lot of future climate solutions that will be really impactful. So why not be a part of something that could be so useful and so beneficial to society at large?
Well, we love it that you reached out to us, and we love it that you are our newest ambassador.
Yes,
Okezue.
of course.
Yes. So I have another question. So congratulations on all the amazing things you have already done at such a young age. What are your plans for after high school? Will you be going to university? What would you like to study?
Yeah, so definitely interested in going to university. Like I mentioned, I'm doing a lot of college apps right now. I applied early to Stanford University, which is a private university in California.
Mhm.
So I'm hopeful that I will attend there. So we'll see in December. But there are also a couple of others on my list that I'm really interested in. Um, and I think I'll probably study something like biomedical engineering and computer science. Stanford has a special major called symbolic systems that I'm really interested in. It's essentially like the combination of math and statistics and comp sci, but also sociology, humanitarianism, etc. So it's really interesting that it's combining a lot of the things I'm interested in. And I'll probably take some sort of track where I'm looking at how tech and society overlap, and then use that in both my current ventures now, but also future work.
Stanford will be lucky to have you, Okezue. We're with you. We're with you. We're thinking of you. I have
Thank you.
another question. How do I join the competition? Okay, well, should I say that part or maybe?
Yeah, you could definitely go ahead.
So the earthprize.org, you jump in and you can register online for free. Closing of the registration is at the end of November. And all that means for registration is that you get essentially a teacher, a parent, or students to register. And then you get access to our platform for free, where we have learning content. We have the 40 mentors that are university students from all over the world, including Stanford, by the way, Princeton, Harvard, and Oxford, that are online to guide and help the students during and throughout the process of the competition. And we also have an amazing adjudicating panel. And you see all of that when you register. You have until the end of January to submit your solution. So you have plenty of time for your solution, but registration closes at the end of November, and all you have to do is go to the earthprize.org and click register. So I hope that answers that question. Hi, Angela. This is the first time we are participating in the Earth Prize. Do my students need to have their ideas already before registering? No, this is the beauty. So you could potentially already have been working on something in your school or on the side, or have a passion like you, Okezue, lots of things that are swirling in your mind, but you have nowhere to take them. But if you have an idea already existing, you can refine it and you can submit it, or you can come up with a completely new idea, because you have the time to do that by the end of January to submit your solution. And also, when you register and you're on our platform, through our videos, we have real life change makers. So they were originally teenagers who came up with an amazing solution idea. They implemented it and they showcase the impact they've had. And they take you through the whole process. It's there to inspire you and to motivate you and to make you realize that often incredible ideas start very simply. So it's all there for you. Okay, Franklin, hey, I'm in Kenya. Want to know whether our schools could join the Earth Prize competition? Absolutely, Franklin. With pleasure. All you need to do, you can reach out to the Earth Prize on the info email address if you have further questions, but otherwise go on our website. You can register, you can pitch to your students, you can show our trailer and what we're all about and see who's interested, and start getting your teams together, which is up to 5 maximum, 1 to 5. And anything else you might need, you shoot an email to us and our team is ready to answer you, Franklin. Okay. Okay, someone. Okay, if you were going to participate in the Earth Prize, what will be your idea?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Ooh.
I'm not completely sure, though I would be definitely interested in doing something along the lines of like cellular agriculture related. Very interested in food sustainability. So cellular agriculture is a technology where you can take small cell biopsies from a variety of animals and grow they're protein products outside of the animal, so you don't have to butcher it, and it uses significantly less greenhouse gas, land, and water. So for example, you could grow meat, you could grow fur, variety of anything protein or animal source. So I'd definitely be interested in that solution, perhaps like a new type of growth medium or a way it could be applied to a certain type of product. Not completely sure because I haven't developed a root cause analysis yet. So before jumping into the technology, I'd have to look into a specific problem, the specific causes of the problem, and then maybe see how I could solve it.
Very well explained and thought out, and very good, by the way. So we have time for one last question. And let me see. I've got one more. Can you continue with your projects during university? What are your plans for the future? So we had our first year last year. And so the winning team, for example, Team Adorbsy is from Vietnam. They're in the process, two of them, of applying to university. So we wanted to know, how are you going to advance with your solution? So they won $100,000 for the winning prize, and they already got the IP, the intellectual property, for their solution in Vietnam for sanitary pads, diapers, and some other products, which is incredible. And they just asked for 2 months to be on hold while they're applying for university. And then they're going to come back to us, and we're going to continue to help them through our network to bring their solutions to life. We're also going to be involving the VLAR Institute and sharing with them some of our incredible solutions, where they will be able to analyze, turn it into a business plan, and to help move it along while the students are at university. So we have thought of that, as many people have also asked that question. So I hate to say it, but I don't know where 30 minutes went, but it's gone.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you to everyone who is listening today, but also to you, Okezue. I know that you skipped your physical education class to be with us. Thank you so much. But for those of you who are excited and have heard this, you can go and register on theearthprize.org. If you have any further questions, you can shoot it to us, and one of our team will get back to you right away. But we are looking forward to seeing many, many more students this year participate and to share their incredible solutions in the coming future. So we look forward to seeing you again. Thank you to everyone who's taken the time to listen. And thank you again to Okezue. And we wish you all the best with all that you are doing as well. Welcome to the Earth Prize as our newest ambassador.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to see everyone.
You too. Bye-bye, everyone.